Citizion's History Series. Part 4. In 1954, Fusco released a new van to the market, the AU40. It was advertised on the local newspaper, which eventually made its way to Citizion's barn. When Pete went to pick it up and saw the front page, he gasped in disbelief. Pete quickly took it up to Rob in his office. He looked at the front page, gave a small nod. As he started skimming through the text, his facial expressions remained unchanged.
Cool car, but nothing to worry about. This company's market awareness is small like ours, so it won't impact our sales that much.
But sir, surely the customers will want to know what is the best.
Well, let's give them some stats and then they can decide for themselves.
One morning, in 1955, Citizion received some news through the post of the barn. When Pete went over to pick it up, the first thing he saw was Fruinia to introduce new bill, safety standard raises to 25 in 5 years. Pete quickly brought the news up to Rob. Rob thought this was unusually high and that Citizion might need to start taking safety more seriously. At around 4 o'clock, Rob went into the design office and asked Tim about the situation. Tim concluded that the CX100 would need to upgrade to the 60s safety package. He also said Citizion would need to start developing R&D safety to prepare for regulations changes in the far future, as eventually the tech packages themselves would not be enough. In 1956, Tim has finished the prototype for the C100 and asked the whole team and come and have a look. Wow! Nate in particular was very impressed with the styling because of featured feminine curves. He also said dark green is a more distinctive color which makes it stand out. Pete then went through the design with Tim to make sure it meets the brief. Once all was good, Rob signed off the prototype and assigned Tim onto engineering, Nate onto factory management and Jeff onto marketing. For engineering, Tim used his experience from the CX100 and prioritized that process and reliability were at decent levels. The end project costs $5 million and went on for 23 months. For factory management, Nate clears out the tiny factory in Namilla so it will be ready to produce the C100. It will also feature an upgrade to Tiny 3. The Tiny 3 in Costa Guela will be upgraded to a small one and now be the only factory to produce the CX100. For the marketing campaign, Jeff drove the C100 into the Pico Campo Mountains. From the peak, he took a picture of the C100 facing the landscape and the ocean. When Jeff finished, he returned to the barn and gathered critical statics from Rob about the C100, including price, fuel economy, passenger, and cargo volume. 1 month later, Jeff has finished off the campaign and went over to show the team. When everyone was done with their approval, Rob signed off the marketing campaign and the project for C100. In April 1957, Rob makes the decision that Citizion should expand their empire into other countries. The first would be Hetvasia, who have a good market for family cars. Rob himself began the long drive with the C100 into Hetvasia, where he would make the trade deal. It was colder in this region compared with Fruinia, with average temperatures ranging from 8 to 20 degrees Celsius. It was good that day Rob remembered to bring a coat, as it was raining with temperatures of 10 degrees outside. When he eventually made it to the site, he was welcomed by a very outgoing chapter. Rob introduced the C100 and originally the guy was rather intrigued of the styling. But then Rob introduced the specs and the man's smile suddenly disappeared. He explains that this vehicle is like a death trap to the public. No one would ever buy this because it doesn't meet the 25 safety standard. He also explained that this was going to increase to 30 in 1960. Can the C100 ever meet that? Rob realized during this moment that this business proposition was done for, and it was also a long, cold, depressing journey back home. In January 1958, the C100 was officially released to the public. Over the next month, Nate did a factory report and there were 84 units sold for the C100. He also did an update factory report for the CX100 and there were 205 units. 36 were utility and 169 were L delivery. Simon did a report during the same period and Citizion had 20 million cash, 16.3 million debt and was earning 2.6 million from the CX100 and 1.6 million for the C100. Factoring in the expenses, the gross profit for the company was 1.3 million, a great achievement. In February 1958, Rob arranged a meeting to discuss the upcoming facelifts for CX100 and C100.
Right, chaps. It's about time we do a facelift for the CX100 and C100 platforms.
We have 20M guys, so we can go all the way in this one. We don't want a tax man biting into us.
Those safety regulations are coming in 2 years, Rob, so we don't have much time.
Yes, indeed. Tim, did you keep notes on what needs doing for the CX100 safety?
Yes, I've got them here. We need to add a front and rear crumple zone under impact and a steering wheel which collapses under a crash situation.
Fantastic. Anything else needed for the CX100 facelift?
Not really. Vans don't need much tech. It's best we continue to refine what we have to improve the reliability tests.
Yes, that is what the CX100 is marketed as anyway.
How about factories, Nate?
Well, the sales are far from the 280 max capacity of the small one, but I reckon we future-proof the factory by upgrading it to small too.
Well, that settles the CX100 facelift. What about the C100?
I think we should add another trim. Something sporty perhaps.
What?
And why would we do that, Jeff? Our entire empire is built upon building cars for the people.
I think, if you haven't noticed, every single Fruinia company out there has a race division.
Fusco doesn't.
We are not making race cars, Jeff.
Hear me out. Why not make a family sport as the new trim? This would only require us to beef it up the existing engine and make the car itself more sporty.
Sporty, as in stiffen the suspension.
Yes, excuse my ignorance of engineering, Tim.
To beef up the engine, we could just cut bigger holes in the block to increase the bore and stroke.
See, this could work.
I suppose this trim would plug some of the weakness our company has, which is with performance. But it will still be a road car, yes, Jeff?
Yeah, it should be fine.
Guys, there is one small problem with this new trim. Our Tiny 3 factory won't take it.
It's a perfect opportunity to burn some money on a new plot.
I guess so.
All right, that is settled. Tim, now you are free to do your magic with the design.
Okay.
That is it for today's meeting. Thank you, everyone.
If you find the design boring, skip to 11.21 to see final car build.